Hello and welcome to the last episode of the first season of the Weekly Sweep with Justin Broom, WLCN's new online series giving you the newest perspective on today's trending topics. Brought to you by Downtown Lincoln's coffee shop, By the Bean. With school quickly approaching, I thought it would be appropriate, as a recent high school graduate, to give some advice to new incoming freshmen. And to do that, I also have some fellow LCH graduates with me. Introducing Madison Bishop and Chris Kirka.
Hello, my name is Madison Bishop. I just graduated from Lincoln High School, like you just said. I'm going to Northern Illinois University for the fall semester for hopefully 4 years, and don't want to make it any longer because it's said to have happened, so that's kind of scary. But gonna go and do acting. If us two were the only two graduates from our high school that are actually going to do acting and do theater in college, so it's pretty exciting. Good to be here.
I'm Chris Kirka, and I'm actually not a recent grad. I graduated about a year and a half ago, but I'm on my way back to school. The plan is to go down to Carbondale at some point and do a major in theater design and management.
All right, let's get started into the topics. First question that I get a lot about from kids is how different it is going from middle school into high school and kind of what that change is like.
Well, it's definitely different because I came from a school that had a graduating class of about 28. So it was very difficult to be going to a high school that had many more people just in my class, had over 100 people just in our freshman class. One of the things that I really did to adjust was to just get out there and make friends. Don't be afraid to approach somebody if you have a question or something, because that person that might help you with your algebra question could end up being your best friend for 4 years. So it's just getting yourself out there, and making a bunch of friends is really an easy way, and they help you adjust because they're going through the same thing.
I definitely have to agree to that. The other thing to remember, especially here in town, is that the middle school kids, you've got a bigger variety coming in for high school. And don't leave yourself closed to any doors there, because, like Madison said, there's lots of friendship opportunities there. Middle school is quite different from high school. You'll be nervous, but it's a lot of fun at the same time. But there's definitely, like I said, just a lot of friendship opportunities open there.
So yeah, definitely on that, especially that first week, just be pretty open to just meeting new people and just introducing yourself to people, and you'll get to know a lot of people that way. Right, and kind of going off kind of the change of pace with that, a lot of kids also worry about how difficult the classes are going to be once they get to high school. So maybe we can talk about a little bit of like the variety of classes and just how it is different.
Well, classes can be set to help you. There's accelerated classes if you're a student who, catches things easily and you want more of a challenge. There's accelerated classes for you. If you're a student who has some difficulty with certain subjects, there's just regular subjects that help. I took regular English, but I also had a more advanced social studies. So it really adjusts to how you want it to be, and of course with the higher ranking classes, there's going to be a bit more homework and a little bit more work, so just be expecting that.
Definitely the accelerated classes, but one thing that you do remember is that every one of the teachers is there to help you, and if you don't ask questions, you're not going to know. That, as well as you've got plenty of elective classes, as they call them, to pick out. So there's lots of fine arts, there's lots of extra science, there's lots of extra just plain fun classes to take, that if you want to do something that will kind of take your mind off the academics portion, it definitely helps doing those.
Yep, and there's definitely a bunch of variety at any high school you can look at that, and you'll also help meet new people that way too, just finding the things that you like, and just make sure to always ask for help, otherwise you're probably not going to get it. So, and then going off of that, probably the biggest question I get is how bad is the homework and how to manage it, and as some tips to do that.
Well, I was the kid who didn't have to do a lot of homework because I was able to get it done in class, because I paid attention to the lesson, which is usually can be hard on some days, especially like Mondays when you get up and you're really groggy. But if you're paying attention to the beginning of the lesson, you'll probably be able to finish some of your homework before you even leave the class. But if you know you're going to have your classes that are going to have more homework. So if you are in one of those classes, what I did was as soon as I got home, I just did it and got it over with, and I was able to enjoy my evening. I could have gone out with friends to maybe a basketball game. So my management was just getting it done, whatever I had, and then being able to enjoy the rest of my time.
Wish I would have done that. There's a definite difference based on the classes that you take, how much homework you're going to have. Time management is something you definitely learn through high school. The difference in homework load is going to depend on accelerated regular classes, or if it's just a teacher that just doesn't like giving out homework. Like Madison said, you can get the homework done before the end of class. If not, sometimes it's easy to get it done in another class. That's what I typically did. But I was also working full-time during high school, so it was hard to maintain doing homework at home. So it definitely depends. I would say that the homework itself is not extremely hard to finish.
All right, so kind of going off that, time management is a big part of it. So I think a lot of dealing with classes is making the time to get it done. That way you can do stuff you want to do. And speaking of which, might as well move on to the fun stuff. So big thing about going to a new school is probably feeling like you're kind of by yourself and that you're just kind of in your own bubble. So what are your guys' tips to kind of making friends and just building your own circle?
Don't be afraid to, greet somebody. If you see somebody who you notice may have the same kind of interests as you, like you notice that they're talking about to somebody else that they know about a certain show, don't be afraid to just say, hey, I like that show too, it's really fun, and then just make a conversation off of that. So really the best thing that you can do to make friendships that really are going to help you out a lot, especially with your first year, is to just don't be afraid to take the initiative, reach out, and try to make as many friends as you can, because you should. It's really fun.
Definitely, as well as going with your extracurriculars. Don't be afraid to try anything. If you think you might have a glimmer of maybe I might want to do that, don't be afraid to try it. If you don't like it, you can always quit. You can always try something different. There's nothing that's going to hold you back from trying to do it or not. If you don't do it, you won't know. Acting is definitely one of our top ones here, so we always love that. But if you don't try, you're not going to know. So it's best to just try and sign up for it and go for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Extracurriculars, I feel, are the best way to meet people, because you're going to meet people who probably do have those similar interests and just like doing the same things you do. And especially with us, I know all three of us did a lot of extracurriculars in high school. I did all the plays in our high school. I did the musical, speech team, choir, National Honor Society, and just a whole bunch of different stuff. And
wow. I jumped around. I actually did Scholastic Bowl for a year, which was so fun. I mean, I think the only question I ever actually answered right was who were the Blues Brothers. So being the Saturday Night Live fanatic I was able to answer it. But really, I did a lot of the play stuff. I had... when I first got to high school, I was too afraid to get up on stage and audition for those plays, which I regretted in the end, but I did do costumes, I did makeup, and then I was able to get on stage end of sophomore year, junior year, and found out that it was something that I really enjoyed doing. So you're able to find the niches that you really fit into and what you really enjoy. You just got to test out the waters a little bit.
Like Justin, I also did a lot of the acting. I did plays and musicals all 4 years. I was also part of the yearbook club. I'm the one that took all the photos, made all the pages, did all the captioning, and made everybody embarrassed. There's a lot of other things that I did throughout high school. I led a bunch of school functions, as well as going about leading student gatherings of different sorts, and just kind of coordinating different things throughout the school, as well as fundraisers. It takes a lot of effort, but in the end, if you really enjoy it, it doesn't feel like much of an effort. You just really enjoy it.
All right, and kind of tying in with that, I know a big part that I struggled with in the beginning and came to learn was managing schoolwork and all these activities and just everything. So do you have any tips on how to deal with that, and maybe some time management skills?
Again, I was really good about getting my homework done at the earliest point possible. If I could get it done in another class, I would get it done in another class. If I could get it done between the time that I had to go to play rehearsal and the time that school ended, I would get it done there. So it's just, some days you're going to have more homework, some days you're not. So adjusting to whatever your load is pretty easy. Once you get that first couple of weeks out of the way, you find what fits you best, and you're able to go from there.
Definitely with the different, whenever you have downtime, do what you can. If you feel like your homework is too big for what activities that you have on your list, I would definitely suggest trying to cut back. If you still want to do that activity, definitely talk to whatever director's there as the leader for that group. Be like, hey, can I just take off a night? I need to get this homework caught up before I can come back. A lot of teachers or directors are going to definitely understand that because schoolwork does come first. There's some activities that don't always think that way, but it's best whenever you do have downtime to try your best to get what you can done.
All right, definitely. Yeah, just really manage your time, do what you can, and if you are having a problem with something, talk to someone about it. They can probably help you. And if you just find yourself like overloaded with stuff, it's okay to not do anything anymore just because it's taking some of your time out. So I think that's about it on our topics today. Do you guys have any final tips for our incoming freshmen this year?
Relax. It's going to be all right. If you're freaking out so much about it, don't. It's going to be such a positive change, and it's just going to take a little adjustment period. Some people don't need an adjustment period, some people do. So if you're having a rough, first week, it will get better. So just relax, get yourself out there, and make some friends and have a great time, because it only lasts 4 years.
One of the biggest tips I'd probably leave with is if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. It doesn't matter if it's just somebody in the hall or if it's a teacher of some sort. If you don't ask, you're not going to know. It's simply what it's going to come down to. And if you, like I said, if you don't ask, you're not going to know. So you might just be left in the blank if you don't.
All right, and I think my last tips, I guess, would just be yourself. If you're going to try and put on a persona to kind of make yourself look more appealing to other people, you're just going to come off as fake, and people don't really like that when you appear that way. So just be yourself, and you're going to find people who appreciate you for you. And I think my last tip would be to trust your teachers and administrators for the most part. They're there for a reason, and arguing with them or just not getting along with them is just going to hurt you in the end and not help you. So, yeah. All right, well, thank you guys for being on the show and giving some advice to our new incoming freshmen. If you guys like this, make sure to subscribe to the WLCN YouTube page for everything 96.3. And as this is the last episode for a while on the Weekly Sweep, I'd like to give a big thank you to Steve Sauer, Jim Ash, and Jeff Maxwell for starting the show and getting me in here. Big thank you to Jeff Ladd for filming all of the episodes for the Weekly Sweep. And, of course, a giant thank you to By the Bean Coffee Shop for giving us a great set to work in and to film, and for just sponsoring the show. So, until I see you guys next time, my name is Justin Broom, and this has been The Weekly Sweep.